Anyway, yeah, full time. So AC Milan nil, Inter Milan 3. 2 goals from Martinez, and then Lukaku scoring as well in the second half. Andy, I think for Inter, they've just shown why they are top and why they are the favourites.
Yeah, totally. Easily the favourites for the league right now. It's you think you look at it, obviously there's what 14, 15, 16 games to go still in Serie A, maybe even more. My maths are correct, but yeah, the fact that Inter Milan now it's early to say it, but it's right to say it is that it's their league to lose. It's
Yeah.
they had that slow start to the season. They had that period, almost like felt like a feeling out period where obviously Conte's been there. It's not like he's a new manager coming in, but it just felt like they took a little while to reach their stride, to get into their stride, but that stride's well and truly been gotten into in the last couple of weeks and months. Yeah, this really felt like a turning of a tide because AC Milan had been top for so long, and then for Inter to go top, there's me knocking my microphone over. For Inter to go top last week and then to beat AC Milan today, it's hard to come back from this. I think for Milan and part of me, even though it's like maybe I don't know, maybe a bit hyperbolic to say it, but like, you do worry for AC Milan now.
Yeah.
They're second in the league. You shouldn't worry for them. They're achieving way over what anybody thought they would do. But with the run of games coming up with Roma, with Juve around the corner, and the way that they got beat today, I mean, 3-0 is not a. It's not like they got beat 5-6, 7-0, but just the fact that Inter Milan outplayed them. Apart from maybe the first 10 minutes of the second half, Inter Milan dominated them, and there's a little bit of worry there for AC Milan as to how and when and if they can bounce back from this.
Yeah, I
I'd
think.
say the. Oh yeah, sorry, Jamie.
No, no, go on, Seb. You go, go, go.
It's not. It is worrying because recent games, particularly the Atalanta Spezia games, it's looking like Pioli's running out of ideas. Particularly in this game, that was abundantly clear. He was running out of ideas. They were probably unfortunate to lose 3-0. The game wasn't a 3-0 one. I mean, Handanovic made a lot of
Yeah.
saves. AC Milan probably had the better of the second halves, but just fell asleep at certain occasions. Now they're 4 points behind, and you don't want them to start getting dragged back down to say fifth place because Atalanta, who are a game behind, are seventh with 9 points behind. They win the game in hand. It's only 6 points between seventh and second. That can be quite tense. AC Milan, if they're not careful and lose to Roma, say for instance Napoli in the coming weeks, they could drop down to fourth and just be on the edge of Champions League football. So if they finish fifth this season, it's not a disaster. But given the context of where they were at the beginning, it would be disastrous. Their squad is too thin. They need new players in there who are actually good enough to step in when, say, for instance, Benasser is absent or Chanaloglu is absent. They're still overachieving in second, but it's a bit worrying now for AC Milan. You think this bad form could continue?
Yeah, I think today, if Milan, AC Milan would have won today, that would have been a proper statement victory of like, okay, yeah, we've lost our top spot, but we've bounced back by beating our nearest rivals in the league and our local rivals. That would have been a massive statement, and it didn't happen like that. And the other way around is it's a big statement for Inter Milan to have climbed back up the table, to get to the top spot last week, and then to go and beat their rivals. That's huge for Inter. And just I think what Seb says there, you can't. I think you can't hammer it home enough. Is in this Milan squad is it's paper thin. They've done so well to be where they are. They've done it for them to be top for so long is absolutely nuts. I think that's probably the greatest story in world football for the last or for this season. But there's so many. There's so many cracks that have been papered over, I think, for Milan. And when you look at the squad they've got and the injuries that might come around and the reliance on Zlatan, and it's yeah, I don't want to be all doom and gloom because I really want Milan to do well, but you could easily see them drop it down to fifth or sixth, which at the beginning of the season they probably would have taken. They probably, even though it wasn't Champions League, they probably would have taken fifth place at the beginning of the season. Just when you look at recent seasons, but for them, again, the key word from Seb there was context. For them to have been top for so long and then to maybe finish out the top four or maybe come fourth, you'd be massively disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, Milan in that game just didn't look like a team that were going to score. And that was what I was supposed to say until the connection disconnected for me, which was
That's what you kept us waiting for.
yeah,
Was
yeah,
that score was,
was
the word? That score was the word.
it was literally if they were given another 90 minutes, they still wouldn't score, and it just felt like that. It was one of those days where, despite all the possession they had in that second half, and they obviously changed a little bit from their first half, but it just didn't really change at all in terms of efforts and goals. Zlatan had some great saves against him from those headers, and of course, into
Really good, yeah, really good saves.
very good
Yeah,
saves.
I think he really
Handanovic
missed.
just passed it.
Yeah, he's done, mate. He's on a scrappy. That's it. He's off to Serie B next season.
Exactly.
I think they really missed Benacer in the middle of the park with Milan, because you look at that today and the chances they made, it was from balls into the box from out wide, and they really missed that creative spark in the middle of the park. I think AC Milan. That's why you miss someone like a Benacer, because then you're relying on Çalhanoğlu to do something, and he didn't have an awful game today. But
he drops too deep sometimes when there are
That's it.
players missing like that, and he doesn't really. The main thing that's got Milan so far is his connection with Zlatan up front, and Zlatan also dropping a bit deeper. You know, the shots that he had, he wasn't really that close to goal, except for the ones at the beginning of the second half. So, yeah, with those players missing, they just dropped a bit, despite AC Milan actually playing quite hard from the pitch, and you don't get clear-cut chances when you got, say, for instance, Zlatan roaming around the edge of the box. This is actually quite typical of AC Milan this season. They do have matches where they struggle to score, but they've been very solid defensively. They've been able to hold that line quite well and defend for their lives. Now they're kind of leaking in goals. You see the ones against Spezia, you see the ones against Atalanta, you see the ones here today. Against the run of play, they conceded a goal, and that's not what AC Milan were doing at the beginning of the season, which is worrying, but I still wouldn't read too much into it. I think you can tell with a game like this, the real winners, that Inter Milan are in their own heads winners. AC Milan in their heads are overperformers this season. So I think that's showed on the pitch today, just in their mentalities.
Well said. Absolutely.
That's a really good point. And as well with the defense as well, it was the fact that Milan they had their first 11, their first starting choice back four today as well. So there's no excuses in that way. They weren't good enough. Calabria came back in after suspension for the Spezia game. And so you're thinking that, okay, we're going to get this back going again. You got Chiar, you got Romagnoli, you've got Teo Hernandez on the left with Donnarumma. So there's no excuses in that regard. They weren't missing anybody at the back. Just Inter Milan were too good for them. Or maybe Milan didn't perform. Either way, Inter deserved this totally.
Absolutely. And there's actually a tweet I like to see here. This is from a Inter Milan fan that I've just seen. He's a reporter for Eurosport. He's put, it's time we dust off Adriano's nickname and crown him. Romelu the Emperor Lukaku.
No, you are taking dick all away from Adriano. Anything he had for that brief candlelit career, it stays with him.
And that PES 6 career mode.
Yeah, okay, if you want to go with PES as well. Yeah, probably the best player of all time on Pro Evolution Soccer. But for also bizarrely for like that weird. Well, it's weird now. It wasn't weird at the time, but for that, in hindsight, that weird like 2 or 3 year period where he genuinely was going to be the best player in the world, and then just obviously circumstances. I think it was his father died, and that really knocked him, and then just never quite got it back. But man, what a 2 or 3 years though. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, yeah, because it was funny that I only read that last year. I think it was Tim Vickery, the Brazilian writer.
Oh yeah, on BBC. He did a really good article about it. Yeah,
he did an article, and he literally said that's because his dad died. His meaning of playing football was pretty much out to dry. It's such a shame what happened to Adriano. But of course, I do follow him on Instagram, and he's clearly having fun. He's a bit overweight now, but he doesn't care.
Has he gone the Ronaldo route where he just goes partying?
Yeah.
More power to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's got the money. He can do it. Why not? And absolutely fantastic. Okay, lads, before we wrap up, I'm going to ask for your man of the matches. Seb, over to you to start off with.
I think just purely, I do want to say either Lukaku or Martinez. They're both immense up front. But just because Lukaku gave away some cheap balls, I'm not going to give it to him. so maybe Handanovic, 10 saves in a match is still a lot. I'm gonna go for it, Handanovic. I'm gonna go for
I like this. Look at Seb backtracking from writing him off at half time.
No,
he's man in the match. Honestly, he's my friend. He's man in the match.
I'm gonna get the highlights video to get you absolutely done and dusted, Seb. True.
This is me admitting
Seb false more like.
So Handanovic, man of the match. Proving me wrong. Just given that context, I'm giving him man of the match.
Seb, you missed the worst pun ever from Jamie.
Oh no, he hears this all the time.
What was the pun, Jamie? Come on.
Seb false.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Horrendous.
He always calls me that.
Oh, I do apologise.
I think my man of the match. It's hard not to give it to Lautaro because he got 2 goals, but even though his touch was horrendous at times, I think I probably will give it to Lukaku just because I was really impressed with that assist in the first half, the first goal, just the way he got that ball out from his feet, and then just the vision for that cross. I think I'd probably go with Lukaku, and also just how I don't know how. I'm trying to think of a phrase to sum it up. How shit kicking that third goal was, as in just I'm getting the ball on the halfway line. I don't give a toss who's in front of me. You're all being at my way. I'm going to go and score. So I think even though he only got the one goal, I think I'm probably going to get. And he had some horrendous touches. I think I'm going to go with Rom.
I've got a stat here. So he completed 12 passes out of 24 attempted, which is 50%. He lost the ball 20 times, and he had a total of 43 touches.
Oh my god!
Ooh, but he got an assist and he got a really good goal that was all his own work.
That's true. No, I know. So it's like, I agree to it.
That's the I don't know, the enigma that is Romelu Lukaku. Is you have the stats say he's horrendous. You watch him and sometimes he is horrendous, but so many other parts of his game are world class.
Oh
and
yeah,
any team in the world will probably take him. It's like it's weird. I can't wait to see him in the City shirt next season, Jamie.
Oh no!
It's not happening. It's not happening. I don't think it's happening.
No, I mean, I can understand why he'd be on their radar because he is for most teams, I'm sure. But I think the one striker they've got a better chance of getting, I think, is Erling Haaland.
Which you'd also love to have.
I know. Oh, why is it United have burnt so many bridges? You know, Roy Keane started it off by killing his dad. So, you know, it doesn't help, does it?
That's the weird thing with that, though. Is like you see Alfinga Haaland speak in interviews, and he seems quite open to him going to his son, to Erling going to Man United. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like to me, it's like I thought again. I would have thought, like you said then, about that's naturally killing the bridge because you literally ended his dad's career. Yeah, he hobbled on and played a few more games through the divisions, but yeah,
I think it'd be different if Roy Keane were the manager. If he's like if there's all Ipswich at the when Roy Keane was manager, Haaland, go there. You'll learn some good English football. No. Roy Keane's manager. No.
It's not. Every time I watch him, though, I mean, it's nothing to do with Inter Milan and AC Milan. But every time I watch Erling Braut Haaland, I'm amazed how so many different attributes he has. Because you have your pigeonholes, your stereotypes of certain types of players that have certain attributes that work for that, and like he has everything. It's insane for someone that 6'5". Yeah, 6'5".
And he was the fastest. He was the fastest player on the pitch yesterday, except for Kolasinac. So he's quick.
Wow. And that's it. And then he's 6'5" and probably 17 stone, 16 stone,
and can dribble madly in tight spaces. It's unreal.
It's you look at him and it's like the things that he does. He traditionally, that sort of player shouldn't be doing those things. He shouldn't have that speed. He shouldn't have that close control. He shouldn't have that skill. But he does, and he has the finish end, and he has the power that goes.
And he has the work ethic.
Yeah, the dude is an enigma. And Jamie Davis, if you don't get him, oh my god.
I know. It's a must. But I mean, you haven't heard enough from me. You should hear from my brother. All he ever does is go on about Haaland. He sent me a text saying, "Did you see that goal?" Yes, of course I did. And my brother's like, "Yeah, I'm watching German football now. Yeah, because of Haaland."
yeah.
But yeah, Haaland's a must for
I'm watching it because
a lot
of
of
Andre
teams.
Silva.
Oh, nice.
See,
I'm watching it to watch the steady decline of Matt Hummels. Sadly, it wasn't intended to be that because I like Hummels, but that's what it's turned out to be.
I'm seeing it just to hear much of Gladbach's goal song. Dub 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 dub. Anyway,
but again, how it wouldn't surprise me if somehow Juventus pulled this league out of their arse and won it, because Juventus. It wouldn't surprise me if somehow, some way,
they've got the right character in midfield. That's for sure.
They have, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in some way, somehow, just because of how football is traditionally now. If Haaland, when he does leave, ends up going to fucking Bayern Munich, just because it is.
I don't think you will. I don't think you will.
I really hope not. I hope not.
I hope not.
No one thought Lewandowski would, but
after that, you never know.
You said about Juventus winning the league, and it's possible, but there's one key element to Juventus winning the league. If Arthur is injured for much longer, Juventus won't win the league. If he comes back soon, I'm not sure about what the injury is, then I think Juventus might have a shout. It's weird to say that the whole league might depend on Arthur's physicality.
Whoa. What about Aaron Ramsey?
No. He's a left-sided midfielder that drags in. Arthur really controls midfield, and especially next to Bentancur, who can make so many errors. He really, Rabiot's not the same as Arthur. He doesn't work hard enough.
No, Rabiot's totally different, and he's a bit
Rabiot's a weird one. I find him a really weird football player, just generally. I don't get him. I just don't get him.
No, same here. Especially with all the hype. But you look at the hype that he had around him. Most of it was from himself. And
Yeah,
you,
his
you've
mum.
got,
His mum.
yeah, exactly. Him and his mum. It's like you've got to invest in yourself. Fair play to him. But when you see him play for, even when he's playing for PSG, and it's like, well, he's not really tearing up the game here, but he still managed to somehow get his move to Juventus.
He's good in about 10 minutes patches and then just disappears. But he's another example who can just glide with the ball easily.
Yeah,
And you don't know how. He's not quick, but he can glide with it and keep it. And yeah, it's basically, Rabi's going to be a free agent. Top deal that. How much do you want to get paid? Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, and even now it's like he still gets linked with United, with City, with Tottenham, with whoever, because it's like he's a free. He might be leaving. He might be leaving Juve. Might be able to get him cheaper on the free. It's like, yeah, go for it. And again, it's like, I don't think he's done anything that warrants it really. If you look at his, literally look at his throughout his career, and the general 90-minute performances, no chance. But he'll get himself a massive move if and when he does leave. I'm just watching Kevin De Bruyne's on my screen here in the background. I guess he's back for City today.
Of course, yeah. Arsenal Man City's on at 4:30. Yeah.
Oh, there he is. There he is in the track.
He came on. He came on against Everton.
Yeah. So he is available. Anyway, before we wrap up, lads, just a quick summary. So Martinez with 2 goals. Lukaku in the 66th minute as well with his left foot, and he said this is mine or something like that when he scored, when he celebrated. He was saying to the camera, "This is mine," according to what I'm reading on Twitter.
I don't think anyone doubted it was his goal. Yeah, I don't think they doubted it was his goal.
It took a deflection. It's an own goal. Nah. Possession has changed, lads, from the first half. It's no longer Brexit. It's pretty much a majority of AC Milan, 61% to 39.
We love our majorities.
We do love our majorities. What can I say? Shots on target, 10 to 8. Of course, Inter Milan getting 3 of them on target was the goals. And then looking at the corners, it was 7-all. Completed passes, 504 for AC Milan, 307 for Inter. And that's really the most important stats. But the heat maps, they've even got heat maps on the Serie A website, which it's like trying to guess what the shape looks like. But with these shapes, I haven't got a clue.
Is it phallic? Is it phallic, Jamie?
It's one of them looks like a penis.
That will be phallic. That will be phallic. Yeah.
The Inter Milan, even though they played very well, looked like a penis with their play today. So let us know in the comments.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
I'm a big fan of average formation because it just makes no sense.
Oh yeah. I mentioned this, didn't I, the other week?
Average formation is just this big blob in the middle.
It's so random.